One between ESC Ever and Samsung. And we'll see what it's going to be.
Karma ban immediately. They have played that a few times. Core JJ has not played it. His only two champions are Bard and the Zyra, in a rare pick here in Korea, taking the Zyra for a little bit more lane dominance. And they are going to take the Jhin out of the pool.
Huh, okay.
Curiously, Ruler has not played a Jhin game this season.
Well, I mean, who knows what's going on in scrims, and I mean, we have seen Jhin start to make a pretty big impact. Rox Tiger is Prey, like, really playing well yesterday.
Yeah, Jhin has definitely become, this week, a higher priority pick. They are going to take the Ashe out, a typical ban against Ruler.
Of course.
But, of course, we have seen Ashe picks on the side of ESC also. In fact, it is Loken's most played champion, and usually we see the Ashe banned against ESC. Switching it up a little bit.
Vlad, the last ban to come out from Samsung, so just not wanting to give that one over to Tempt. They must not trust Crowns and Nivea play. That's the only answer. That's my analysis right there. Pretty good, I know. You can continue. We don't need to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they did get kind of wrecked by Longju when he played the Anivia into the Vladimir. It was a very well-played game by Longju and Coco in particular.
Well, so maybe the Aurelia pickup, and certainly a champion that's become much more of a priority pick since 6-11 hit. But is it worth first picking at Samsung? Yeah, Cube can take it, but he hasn't looked super great on any sort of carry top laner yet.
Well, he did have a 10-kill game as Aurelia, let's be real. They are going to take the Varus, though, which is one of the most common bans against ESC, considering that Tempt is very good Varus player, and so is Crown. So the opportunity to deny it here, pretty attractive, but I think you just take the Rek'Sai and the Sivir. You can wait. Cube has tried to play that Renekton as a counter pick into the Aurelia, but the only person we've seen do that successfully so far was Smeb, and that was yesterday.
Maybe the Sivir and Rek'Sai. Bishop's been good on the Rek'Sai. So why not?
Yeah, I think you take this. No more Elise for Ambition. He hasn't been able to make it work in the early game. At least his ganks have been more successful with the Rek'Sai.
Well, what we've seen, too, is that when Ambition, I feel like when he lacks a strong support, he really tends to die a lot more. I mean, he relied on Mad Life back in the day on CJ and Wraith, who was doing a good job of kind of augmenting Ambition's propensity, shall we say, to go into the enemy jungle all the time.
Well, they were playing around, I think you're right, though. They were playing better around Ambition's tendencies, which actually in the early phases of this season netted them quite a few kills and quite a few advantages.
Yeah.
As long as you have the manpower to back up his invades, it can be successful. Problem was, previously he was being left out to dry, but Ruler's addition to the team and his... considering that Shen was selected, and that Gragas not the strongest champion to couple with Varus, but
that's a good point.
Does have strong engage, as long as we don't see Tempt accidentally missing some of those chains of corruption due to the displacement of the Gragas.
Yeah, it can be a bit of anti-synergy, but I suppose that Shen can do a little bit more in keeping Tempt safe on the Varus.
Yeah, Ruler, I would assume, is going to be going with an Ezreal pick here, just because that has been his most played champion this season. Crown can go ahead and take the Victor, which he has been prioritizing over the Azir lately. We heard him talk about that, his preference for Victor over Azir in an interview, and the Azir just not even taken in this draft yet, but Varus first pick, probably not going to see it. Question now for Loken is, what are we going to see from the AD carry now that two of the AD carries have already been banned, and Samsung is just saving their pick to know what exactly Loken's going to be taken, instead of blind picking the Sivir, which is, I would say, a little bit curious. We could see the Kalista come back, potentially.
You know, I do like the idea of the Thresh, though. You know, when you have that kind of squishy back line in Varus, you've got the Shen to keep him safe, you've got the Thresh to knock Aurelia and Rek'Sai away. So it can work. I bet Nami's a disengaged support, too.
Yeah, I think Nami is better here, considering that... Oh, wow.
Alistar would be a bit surprising.
I am
Oh,
not...
wow.
Okay, it's going to be
Ooh,
Kalista,
okay.
actually, at the last second. Well, that changes this composition's goals pretty heavily. They went from a potential poke composition or siege composition into an all-in engage.
Yeah.
And they will have very powerful engage with Fate's Call, Alistar, and a Shen ultimate just launching them in. Might be a little bit concerned about Tempt on this Varus
Yeah,
being left out to dry.
He's going to be on his own a lot, isn't he?
Yes,
good
he
luck,
is.
Tempt. Good luck, buddy. Hide behind a bush or something.
You definitely want to use the Shen ultimate on the Alistar to engage some of these fights. It will also cover some of the weaknesses that we've seen from the Alistar in terms of durability after his ultimate was nerfed. So that'll be a nice little bonus. You can probably use him pretty much the same way that you used to now.
And so will be the Ezreal for Ruler as well. So some good mobility to avoid that engage and some good late game damage.
You definitely take Ezreal there. You need to be able to avoid Gragas ultimate, Alistar, taking a low mobility 80 carry with sort of paint a target on his back.
Yeah.
I just don't like this composition, Doa, because since Samsung has the Aurelia, going Tempt being all by himself in the back line with an Aurelia sticking to him could produce a really ugly situation. So Ever is going to have that on the forefront of their mind during some of these team fights and figure out how exactly they're going to keep Tempt alive. The other thing that could be a little bit harsh is the emphasis on attack damage here instead of AP that we see from Ever. They don't have a good mix.
Well, maybe Tempt is going to live up to his name. He's going to try to tempt Samsung to engage on him. And then the counter engage from ESC. It was the plan all along.
Perhaps it is, Doa. Perhaps it is.
There we go. It's my official prediction.
I would have rather seen an Azir here from ESC, but it is a Tempt special, the Varus, and we know how good he can be on it.
Sure enough. Well, ESC Ever versus Samsung, game number 1. Let's see who takes the early lead in this best of 3. Mountain Drake. All right, welcome to Summoner's Rift, ESC Ever versus Samsung. First game of the day in our 2 best of 3 day here on LCK Summer on OGN. And will Ever be able to pick up their 3rd match win of the season? I'd say it's a good opportunity for it. That is an interesting ward.
It's a special heart ward.
It sure is.
Shows your love of your invisible love, I guess.
I guess so. That's kind of creepy when you think about it, you know. It's kind of like, I love this person in the bot lane, but just kind of hide in a bush and stare at them. I don't know, man. That ward is creeping me out a bit.
Wards are sort of the big brother of Summoner's Rift.
That's true.
Filling the entire rift with as much intel as possible, intel gathering.
Sure. Not as much as it used to.
Definitely true.
Yeah.
There used to be a way to fight against Big Brother. It was called Oracle's Elixir.
Yep, that's true.
Now there's not.
Well, Big Brother used to be a lot bigger, man. I mean, when you could just buy green wards and they lasted forever until somebody killed them, you just like, all right, we're ahead. Let's just put a billion wards in their jungle, and now we win for sure.
I'm glad that the vision system was changed in that way. Oracle's Elixir was insanely broken.
Yep.
And caused massive snowballs to form just because one team had it. The jungler would just buy it, and then there were no wards for the other team and no way to get wards at times.
Certainly was. Certainly was a good time. Thanks for making me have those happy thoughts. So what do you think about the Varus Victor matchup?
I mean, Crown should be able to play this. He's a very good Varus player himself.
Sure.
Has to avoid a little bit of that poke, obviously. We'll see how it goes.
Ooh, good damage on the Loken with that Cosmic Binding, followed by a little bit of extra attacking.
Yeah, really hard for ESC to deal with this situation in the early phases of the lane. The Thunderlord's going to be doing work, of course, for the Bard and proccing the Kalista W damage.
Yeah.
A bit challenging.
Core JJ and Ruler with a pretty easy 2v2 so far.
Nice. Core JJ playing the Bard again. We've only seen Bard and Zyra from him.
Zyra's an interesting one. Do you ever think that's going to really catch on here? We've
No,
seen it like, what, twice?
It's lane dominant, but team fighting, she just explodes.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to create picks onto the Zyra. And so unless you're going to snowball really, really hard out of a laning phase, which is definitely possible, you can kind of write her off a little bit in the late game.
True enough. Pretty tame start to the game overall, though. But which is too bad because there's really not too much more to talk about. I mean, no real big world events that I can think of. No,
yeah, nothing's been happening in the world right now.
Yeah, pretty quiet news day, you know, from what I've seen. Yeah, pretty much just video games. Yep. Crown, seeker of the blue buff.
He is actually going to get the first blue buff here, so Ambition going to hand that one over. And this should really help him out this matchup, keeping the lane pushed, because Victor doesn't have the most lane pressure before he upgrades his Hex Core. He can get the second proc on the Death Ray to actually clear out those minion waves. But with the blue buff, he will be able to spam that Death Ray and a little bit more frequently to keep the pressure up on the Varus of the lane. So.
Yeah, it's a nice pickup. Woo. Crazy goes for the taunt, the shadowy dash. Not really shadowy at all, though, is it? I know you were thinking the same thing.
I was about to say that, yeah.
More like obvious dash.
Just call it dash. That's all he does.
A flashy dash.
The flash and dash. We see that a lot.
The flashy dash is good. Shen with the flashy dash.
Yeah, but then you'd have to talk about he flashy dash.
That's right.
I don't know. I don't want to say
better,
that
man.
sentence.
It's flashy dash. Nice cosmic binding from Core JJ again. Or Corge, as he's known among the barbarian tribes of the Highlands.
Corge.
Corge, the barbarian.
I think Dash is pretty flashy with his hair.
Yeah?
Yeah, his purple hair over there in NA.
That's true. Saying he could flashy flash?
If he played Shen, it would be flashy dash, flashy dashing.
How has this not happened yet? Oh. Very impressive, the dash, flashy dash. Oh, we have fun on LCK, don't we?
We do.
We have so much fun. As if he wasn't a bad enough ninja. This skin includes a giant flag. For Shen.
I think he's supposed to be a samurai in this one.
I guess so.
Which is really a misnomer if he's supposed to be a ninja. The samurai and the ninja, not really great friends there.
Yeah, no kidding.
In fact, they're kind of polar opposites of each other.
Maybe he's like
that's like making a ninja skin for Gangplank. What the hell is that?
Right, or like making a pirate into a cowboy or something.
Yeah, just because both samurais and ninja come from Japan, Ryan, doesn't mean they're the same thing. I know that might confuse you.
Awkward. Yeah, well, maybe he's like a double agent ninja, you know? Like he's he's a ninja posing as a samurai just to get closer to other ninjas. Or other samurais, rather.
So he can assassinate them?
Yeah, that's right. He's like, don't worry, I'm a samurai too. And then he stabs him.
That would be...
With his giant light sword. He just comes through the wall. He's like, hey, fellow samurai, how you doing? Isn't life great? And he's like, whoa, what's that over there? And the samurai turns and looks, and then his giant sword comes to the other wall and skewers him.
Must be really hard for Shen to go through airports with that giant glowing sword, following him around everywhere.
Or does he just wait until he's on the plane and then he calls it to him? And just, like, would you like a drink, sir? And then like a sword just sticks up through the floor. And everyone's kind of freaked out. Yikes.
Don't go on a plane with Shen.
No. You never know when that sword's going to make an appearance. Yeah. Comes up from the... maybe put in one of his checked bags and just comes up out of the floor that way too. Oh man. I thought it was calling for another cup of coffee.
Just a ghost sword instead.
Yeah. I hate it when that happens.
Here's another question. When Shen has his Ghost Sword, how does a Ghost Sword create a dodge field?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it just extends its ghostly protoplasm aura to make you also insubstantial, you know? Well, Shen has been insubstantial for quite a while. Ambition going for the blue buff steal, but he fails.
Well,
it's a failure.
Not really going to commit to that.
Nope. Oh well. Other than that, it's been a lot of laning and not a lot of action.
A lot of hot cocoa.
Yeah.
You want some?
Yeah, let's start.
Cows love hot cocoa.
But no milk, please. That's just creepy.
Yeah, it would be really weird for a bull to drink cow milk.
You have to drink goat's milk or something. Something else. Non-cow. Okay, it's ganking time. No, never mind.
It's never ganking time, Doa. But
yeah,
for Samsung, the more they just play out this game, interesting that Cube went for the Stinger first against Shen.
Huh.
You would not think you would want the additional attack speed against the champion with the dodge field. In fact, when we've seen this matchup played previously, when Someday played this matchup, he went Sheen Q-Max, which makes sense because you can actually burst somebody with that.
Yeah.
But this is very odd.
Yeah, because, I mean, now Shen can just avoid more auto attacks.
Yeah, see, look, there's no trading now.
Yeah.
What's Cube max? He's maxing W. All right, well, I don't understand why Cube's doing this.
Sustain, I guess?
I guess, but it basically means there's no kill pressure, which is a problem because Ambition would love to kill the Shen and get Aurelia ahead so that he can actually burst down the Varus later on. This may indicate some sort of potential dive play or teleport play elsewhere on the map.
Could be.
But since Ambition showed on that top side, it's going to be a free blue buff here for the Varus. Fantastic for Tempt, and no blue buff at all.
Not for the Victor. It's going to hurt. Need that blue buff to keep firing his lasers.
I just don't even know why Ambition would be showing up on that top side right now. Jungle pathing, I think, has been a bit weak this game. Showing in the bottom side. Not kind of wasting his time looking for a gank there, which wasn't a realistic possibility.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, Ever could have tried to turn that into a dragon or something. Drake. See, that's what I don't get. It's like, why'd they have to change it from dragon to Drake? Couldn't it have been Cloud Dragon, Infernal Dragon, Elder Dragon?
They had to make the Europeans happy somehow, who have been calling it Drake for years, even though that's not its actual name.
They already gave them ties. What more do they want?
Yeah, I thought that would placate the Europeans for sure.
Greedy Europeans. They want ties. They want Dragon to be called a Drake. They want to keep England all to themselves. Jeez. Come on, give a little. Well, Bless. Getting found out. Just taking a drink. A little bit of damage to Ambition. This is Drunken Rage.
He doesn't look very angry. Gragas never looks angry. Why is it called Drunken Rage? He doesn't even sound angry when you play him.
He just hits people after he drinks. I don't know. Oh, look out. It really looks like that sword's going to hit him. I mean, it kind of does. It's kind of a lazy sword. It's a pretty bad magic sword when you think about it. I mean, because, you know, every other magic sword I've seen, like, look at Aurelia's magic sword. It floats around her and, like, hits whatever she wants it hit. Shen's just sits there and once in a while comes over and says hi. Like, in terms of magic swords...
It doesn't even stab you, so it just smacks you sideways.
I know. Yeah.
The point is always facing down.
Just gives you a little pat on the butt and says, good job, Shen. As far as magic swords goes, Shen's pretty bad.
The hilt just hits you in the head.
That's right. It's like the magical sword equivalent of stepping on a rake. The handle comes up and smacks you in the face.
It's pretty terrible.
I didn't think Shen could become a worse ninja, but he found a way.
He did find a way.
Shen finds a way.
The fluorescent 6-foot sword standing next to him at all times.
That's right.
Oh, Shen, you master of subtlety.
Well, to be fair, I didn't see that one coming. He's got that.
My question to Riot is, when you redesign Shen, why didn't you just make him not Shen?
Ninja?
Like, just not make him not a ninja anymore. Like,
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
nothing to say that you had to make him a ninja again.
Well, I mean, Tarek changed completely, right?
Yeah.
Where he suddenly...
That's a great point.
Yeah, he changed into pretty much a different character as far as like what he did and all that. His power was, you know what his power was? Oops. Oh, bless. Goodness gracious. You don't need that blue buff.
Yeah, that was really sloppy, actually. He just
Yeah.
auto-attacked it.
All right, well, Samsung's going to go for the Mountain Drake, and they should be able to take it without too much issue. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe Bless can make a play on this. He has to redeem himself after sealing that blue buff.
Does have a smite.
Yep, going in, and he'll not take it. Wow, actually, that was so close. Core JJ. He comes in with the headbutt pulverize, or flash pulverize rather. He used the Gragas to break up Samsung. Exhaust on the crown, Ambition forces the flash away. There's the other big engage from Key and Bless. First blood does go over to Tempt, and they're going to try to chase down Kube. So they make Samsung pay for that Mountain Drake at least. That was weird though. I want to see a replay of that because somehow Core JJ was the one to finish off the Drake despite
It was at
junglers being
1
there.
HP.
Yeah.
It literally was at 1 HP after the smite.
Wow.
And yes, Core JJ did finish it off.
All right, let's
but
check that out.
what was weird was the fight afterwards. Watch, it's 1 HP, watch.
Yeah.
1.
Whoa.
He was actually, Bless was in an attack animation, so he nearly got it. Then comes this little awkward engagement, and Crown doesn't even throw out his ultimate right now. Doesn't want to, considering he's exhausted, but could have potentially got it down in the choke point right there. Did use his cleanse to attempt to escape, but couldn't actually finish through before he ended up, having to back out. So a little bit awkward there.
If ESC ever wants to skirmish, I suppose you can do something like that, the flash pulverize into the explosive cask, but yeah, I mean, if you want to keep everybody together, that is kind of some pretty sick anti-synergy.
Yeah. Key did actually redeem that fight by catching people in that choke point with the second pulverize, which was great. Key definitely caused that fight to go ESC's way, but I agree. The way they initiated that by spreading Samsung out, if Samsung had just scattered in all different directions and been a little bit more assertive about controlling that choke point with the Chaos Storm, I think that they could have gotten out without dying right there. So a bit of a mistake, I think, from Samsung. And a bit of a mistake, too, from ESC to initiate that fight. But yes, the anti-synergy between the Gragas and the Alistar is very real. I think you have to just let Alistar engage, and then save the Gragas ultimate to try and peel for Tempt. Just throw the barrel on Tempt's head to keep the Aurelia away from him in the future.
I think it's probably a good idea. Keeping Tempt safe is probably should be rather, priority number one as far as team fighting for ESC ever goes.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing the most damage.
Yeah, especially early here before the Callista does hit a 2-item power spike. So, but still a nice early lead for ESC after a couple of kills, and they took the mid lane turret. Also a pretty big boon for them in terms of the gold total.
Yeah. A good start for ESC ever. Kube trying to duel a bit with Crazy, but he does have the dodge field. Looks like that bottom lane at tier 1 will finally go down, and it's going to go down in favor of Ever. So that's going to mean a 2 turrets to 0 lead here. Maybe Samsung can catch up.
Kube saw his aggro. He messed it up.
Yeah, that's right. Crazy still in a bit of trouble too, but no, Ambition takes a big turret hit. Kube there.
Kube.
Crazy. So he's really too low to chase them.
They have to do this now. They're trapped.
That goes for the taunt. Ambition very low. Crazy picks up the kill there. Now Kube in trouble as well. Temp comes in for an easy one on that Varus. And what the heck? Stand United just for fun. Dodges the 2-shot barrage with it. Well, that was awkward. It was a very...
Kube seriously misplayed that.
Okay, Crown missed by the Fate's call, but they're still going to get the kill anyway. Loken picking up an easy one there. What is going on in this game?
Samsung is just making all kinds of really silly errors.
Yeah.
As we talked about, Crown perhaps being a little bit too safe with some of his abilities around that dragon fight. And then this, I mean, Kube doesn't drop aggro on the turret. He walks in for the auto attack onto Crazy, gets his life down to 1/3, and he can't follow up with the necessary damage just sloppy. Really a sloppy and terrible tower dive from Samsung.
Crazy nice.
And Cuvee here just, I think he needs to just go for that Shen. You can't kill Tempt while the Gragas is there. That's not a realistic option for you.
Yeah. That was a good flashy dash from Crazy to catch Ambition, though.
Was a good flashy dash.
Yeah.
Diving Shen is optimistic at the best of times, but you mess that up and you don't have any more HP, man. It's just a terrible misplay from Samsung.
Yeah, and now the Kalista has 2 kills, the Varus has 2 kills.
You just mission abort after that too. I mean,
yeah.
Ambition should have just walked straight back up into the lane. You can't commit once Cuvee has taken like 3 unnecessary tower shots, especially against the Shen, who will just taunt you and keep those tower shots rolling. So, wow.
Anyone would
Terrible.
taunt you after that.
Terrible. Terrible play from Samsung.
Well, here's Ambition. Can't really go after that pink ward, though. Yeah, Cuvee just popping the ult to clear the wave. Ocean Drake next, okay.
Well, ESC saying, well, we only may get 39% of the dragons in our games, but we're not going to need them to actually win when we can take the early towers and get the kills, get a gold build, start building up that gold advantage.
Yeah.
Having 4,000 up is incredibly helpful. Fortunately for those Samsung fans out there, you know that Samsung has actually been one of the best teams in the league when it comes to making late game comebacks. So usually if they fall behind early, they can tighten up their team fighting in the later stages.
They have had some pretty amazing results here this season from comebacks. X-Dragon's up in just a few seconds. And ESC ever now, I mean, do they really kind of need to keep the heat on? Or can they just kind of back off for the moment? Play a little bit safe.
I think that they ideally should be switching the Kalista and the Alistar up into the top side and reassigning their lanes after they go ahead and take this Drake, so that they can get that last remaining tier 1 turret, and then you can start pressuring the Baron after it spawns here in 20 seconds.
True.
I mean, they're going to take out the jungle while they exit with the Kalista, but she's probably quite close now to the Runin's Hurricane, and that's where you want to be. Attempt with another blue buff. Wow, this really hurts Samsung.
Yeah, they've denied a lot from Crown this game. And
well, it's Ambition's jungle pathing has been very poor
and
so
I mean,
far today.
We go back to the earlier point we were talking about where Ambition's performance seems linked very closely to the support's performance, and things just are not working with him and Core JJ.
No, I mean, they couldn't set up a gank on the bottom side at any point in time, and his gank on the top side was a disaster, which set Cuvee further behind. Ambition is building a Tiamat this game, so at least he will be able to split push if they have that opportunity.
Very true.
I don't know why ESC is continuously putting Loken and Key into the bottom side of the map when there's nothing to be gained for them over there, and they just picked up the Hurricane, so they could push top lane super quickly. Also, it's not a problem to have Crazy up against Ruler, considering that he was able to build the Sunfire Cape first, since he is in the matchup versus Aurelia, so he already has the necessary armor to cope.
You think they can swap?
No, they do.
Not yet.
They do need to reassign the lanes. This is silly. Remember, they're not pushing the advantage as hard as they could by simply wandering around the river in the enemy jungle. They need to make a play onto an objective, and while the Drake is down, is the perfect time to do that.
I suppose this is one of the things that shows they are kind of still a bit of a rookie team.
Yeah,
they've got. I mean, they've got playmaking ability for sure, but shot calling is a bit lacking sometimes, to say the least.
Cuvee just eventually outlasting the dodge field and getting the damage down. Did have to pop his ult for that one.
Well, it's on a pretty low cooldown, so I suppose it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, definitely not the biggest deal. So ESC finally deciding that they're going to 5-man the top lane.
Right.
Oh, or are they?
Oop.
They should.
Getting close. Crown came up as well. They're just going to take the turret.
That's one way to do it, Doa.
Yeah. Just be threatening.
The safer way to do it is to put Shen cross map because he has Stand United, and then 4-man so that you are actually farming all 3 lanes.
Yeah, they're not
at
really
the same
maximizing
time.
the
All they
pressure
had to
can
do,
put on.
yeah, all they had to do was send Loken, Key, and Bless into the top side, and they would have been able to farm more minions, and still had pretty much the same level of threat thanks to crazy Stand United. But, so, whatever, they get the turret anyway.
If it works, it works.
It could have worked better,
It
Doa.
kind of works. It wasn't maximum Monte Cristo efficiency.
Yes, maximum Monte Cristo efficiency is what I like to see, though.
Well, of course, you're Monte Cristo.
Okay. So, that will kill any sense of excitement that we're going to have until the next Drake spawns.
Yep. Dragon.
Draken. Just call it Draken.
Dragon.
Call it a day.
Sounds like the name of some sort of like anger metal band from the early 2000s.
Draken?
Dragon. Yep.
Probably was. I bet you there is a band named Draken out there.
Probably, yeah. Probably. Hopefully they're not one of those bands that just sings about like high school and stuff.
You don't like those bands, Doa?
No, not really. You know.
I wonder why. It's very interesting to me that bands would be so interested in creating an entire repertoire just about high school.
Especially when they're all much older than high school age.
Exactly.
Unless you're talking about like Hanson or something, then those guys are kind of high school age.
I think Jonas Brothers is probably a more recent.
That's true.
You're really dating yourself there with the Hanson reference. So,
They got to be still around somewhere. Well, and
living off the Mbop, the sweet Mbop royalties.
that's right. The cash. The bucks. There you go. I'd refer to them as bucks. Whoa, Flash for Flash. Trying to engage on the ground there.
Just looking to make some of these plays, create picks under the turret, and that's what ESC has been the best at this season, is running with the pick compositions.
Yeah. Ambition wants that red buff, can't get it. You know, instead of Hanson, no, I couldn't, because I like Silverchair, and they didn't sing about being angry in high school.
I don't know what Silverchair is.
You don't know Silverchair?
No.
Really? Whoa. Bless trying to go for a play on the crown, knocks him away with the explosive cask, though, and the Tempered Fate slows up ESC ever a little bit. Loken slowed down by Ruler. They will grab that blue buff. You gotta listen to Silverchair, dude. It's so good. Papa Smithy is face palming so hard right now because they're from Australia.
That's probably why I haven't heard of him. Does he like Silverchair?
I mean, everybody likes Silverchair. They're great.
I'll take your word for it.
They're kind of like the cooler version of Hanson.
You're not selling them well, Doa.
Well, I mean, they're like, it's like 3 young, super long, blonde-haired dudes. We're in a band.
With a terrible name.
I don't know. Is it terrible? Do you have something against silver chairs?
Do you have something for Silverchairs that makes them cool?
No, their music is cool, not their band name. I don't know. Another Ocean Drake goes over to ESC Ever, so they'll be regenerating the heck out of themselves out of combat. Good for them.
Well, important against some of the poke that's likely to come in from Varus.
It's no Cloud Drake, though. If you had the Cloud Drake, you could just dodge it. You wouldn't even take damage.
Doesn't work in combat, sadly.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is if you dodge it, you won't get hit, and you won't be in combat.
So,
yeah.
nice.
See? You got to think on that next level, man.
Just don't fight. Just dodge, dodge piercing arrows until Varus runs out of mana. Brilliant.
This sounds like what you like in League of Legends.
Just run around in circles while Varus just runs out of mana.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, if you run in a really tight circle around Varus, it's hard to, like, spin and, like, hit people.
Just dodge Chain of Corruption that way.
Yeah. Seems to be a good idea. Oh, wow. That does a lot of damage right now.
Sure does.
Yeah.
A lot of nice armor penetration for Tempt. And there is only one person with armor on Samsung, and we talked about that. Armor pretty damn important to them right now, considering that almost all the damage of this composition is coming out of Kalista and Varus. Bless has built an Iceborne. They will be having a little bit more damage out of the jungle position. That eventuality, but I have not been very impressed with Bless's Gragas this game. He's missed a few combos. I think used his cask at somewhat questionable times in these team fights. He's no Beyond, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been, it hasn't been the most inspiring game of League of Legends I've ever seen.
No, it hasn't. Not really from either side, but considering that ESC is using the strength of their engage to force plays, they've come out on top, and Samsung just trying to play around the Aurelia right now while she gets pressure, farm Cuvée back into relevance. Cuvée has gone for the Blade of the Ruined King as a second item.
Well, really wants to get in the back and assassinate Tempt if he can.
Well, also just useful for split pushing against Crazy's Shen.
Sure.
Considering that he has been massing up a good amount of HP with that Thorn Mail. Going to be a little bit trickier. At least Cuvée has some of that life steal with the Blade complete. And now we wait.
Yep. I really wish there was more like exciting topical stuff to converse about. Just bad luck, I guess.
Bad luck today.
Yeah. Oh well.
That's right.
Don't disturb the Baron.
Shoots goo.
Yep.
All right, they need to start actually threatening this Baron right now. Loken in the back of the pit here, going to clear out the ward. Key of the same thing behind the red buff. And this is the point where ESC has control of the map. It's 30 minutes into this game. Cuvée is getting wrecked in the bottom side by Crazy, apparently. And so they have a chance now just to start up the Baron. Aurelia ran away. Just go do it. Just go do it.
Do it.
Start it, ESC. Just
Do the Baron.
do it.
Flash away. Then Magical Journey. Leave your jungler to die. All right, Flash, Magical Journey. Tempered Fate doesn't hit anyone.
They used two ultimates, Fate's Call and the Gragas ult right there. They were probably not going to stop Ambition from getting through that Magical Journey, and I don't think they had the damage to kill him, even if they had hit that Fate's Call. So I think they should just do the Baron. You have Kalista, go for it.
Yep. The engages from both sides have been so awkward this game. What's going on? They pulverize.
The second team fight from Key was actually pretty good. Key has been, for me, so far the MVP of this game.
Well, he had that one good engage in the brush above the Dragon Pit. But aside from that, oh, Ambition. There was a ward right there. You knew he was in there. Setting up the Magical Journey. No, he will take his own path. Oh, Key flashing. Ruler.
Wow, if only it had the Fate's Call.
I guess.
Crazy's ultimate was actually canceled by Cuvée, looks like.
Huh.
Saw the shield onto the Alistar. Didn't end up mattering.
I mean, that is one thing about always having the stun from Equilibrium Strike, I suppose. You'll be able to cancel the TP and stuff. Cuvée on the run now. Chains of Corruption misses.
Well, this is just a game of missed skill shots, Noah. Neither team looking brilliant mechanically tonight.
I mean, you'd think they both had 3 Cloud Drakes with how well they've been dodging all the skill shots this game.
And not fighting?
Or maybe, maybe they just need more Cloud Drakes to hit those skill shots. You know? Just get that much closer. From the best buff in the game. The Cloud Drake buff.
You love you some Cloud Drake, don't you?
I do. It's the greatest buff in the game.
Okay. Well, ESC refusing to start the Baron. Instead, we're just going to look at the final elemental Drake of this game, which will be a third Ocean Drake.
Wow. All right. Well, if Ever's able to pick that up, that is some pretty serious regen. But first, an awkward fight. We're ready. Bring it on. Oh, okay. Headbutt pulverize on the ground. Explosive cast. Doesn't really connect with anyone. Bless has to flash away. Nearly gets lit up by that two-shot barrage. Tempered Fate on to Tempt. That's kind of funny. Meanwhile, ESC Ever continues to chase, getting the kill onto Ambition. Crazy going in onto Core JJ, just trying to slow everybody down as they come out of that, ooh boy, from the Magical Journey. And then Tempt picks off another one with that Q. And, well, what can you say? It worked.
Well, Crazy wasn't even a part of that fight, Doa, for most of it.
Yeah.
Had to TP in and then flash to get anything down. So that was about the best fight we could hope for from Samsung, considering the numbers advantage, and just wasn't enough. They'll be able to easily take this Baron.
I don't know, man. Samsung's coming up. They want to try to stop it.
They have Stand United.
They could do some damage, though. Ruler and Crown have a lot of poke. Baron getting lower. Stand United to use just to give that shield a little bit. And they will take the Baron in the end. Last Ocean Drake is back up.
Trying to walk in there and actually deal with the attempt on the Baron a little bit too much, I think, for Samsung, when Crazy was able just to get right back into the mix after healing up with the Stand United. Now they can transition straight over to very angry looking Ocean Drake. I think Ocean Drake looks the coolest. Look how shiny and green he is.
Yeah, just because he's like the ocean. I don't know. It does look cool. I like the Infernal Drake personally.
Okay, so at the start of this fight, Crown too far forward. They try and play around this choke point with the Chaos Storm. Unfortunately, Key right in the front line. And finally, the TP actually comes through from Crazy. So they are able to follow through with the Magical Journey and clean this one up. But Loken already making it through. The Cosmic Binding had already been used onto Shen when he went through the Magical Journey, so nothing to stop the Kalista from just popping forward and picking up another kill.
Yep. You know, the funny thing, too, is that if... I feel like something like that Magical Journey in that last fight from Core JJ, if they would have just ran back to lane and he wouldn't have done that, then Ever would have had a hard time catching up, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
It's a bit questionable.
I think there's definitely an argument you can make there, Doa, for not using the Magical Journey or just sacrificing the Bard to at least save the team. However, not going to happen, and now they have to be very reliant on the wave clear from Victor against a poking Varus. That is a bit of a trick for them at the moment.
Crazy doing work on that top lane tier 2 at the same time.
It's a very smooth game here.
Yep.
From ESC. Samsung never really able to do much of anything on the map. They got a Drake, they got a tower, they haven't gotten a kill yet.
You know, some games feel really action-packed and there's like lots of big moments. This game feels like it just kind of floats along.
Yes.
And will eventually just sort of end.
I think ESC has been doing a good job of, even if they haven't mechanically played very well, they have so many forms of engage that they've been able just to catch Samsung out.
It's true.
And Samsung very squishy. You'll notice that because of the Tiamat itemization on Ambition, who's the tank on this team? There isn't one. So you are very vulnerable to getting picked off when a Gragas is going to flash cask you, or you have the Fate's Call with an Alistar. Very easy to pick off the squishy members of Samsung.
True. Well, Ever trying to make the most of this Baron buff. They've got a little bit of time left. Looks like they're going to try to use it to take this inhibitor turret. They'll get it. Can they get the inhibitor, though? Looks like they'll be able to claim it.
Yeah, they have a huge minion wave developing in the bottom lane right now, so they can immediately transition, take out the final tier 2 before they recall.
Yep.
Should be the game plan.
Yeah, 12,000 gold is the lead right now for ESC Ever, so they have blown this thing wide open.
And just another game when Samsung plays with Core JJ, they don't look decisive. They look like they don't know what they need to do. So it's not even just about Core JJ's individual play. It's about the team cohesion. Their communication seems to go down. They don't have as much playmaking capability as we've seen. So I would think that Wraith is really adding a lot in terms of communication and planning in-game for the team, because every time we've seen Core JJ, Samsung just looks lost.
Well, they just look like a completely different team.
They do,
and not in a good way. But yeah, they literally look like a different team. They play completely differently. They play a lot worse. Got to put Wraith in game 2. make the call. The call's coming down from on top.
It's just mysterious that they would do. Samsung would use Core JJ in the first game. Now 2 series in a row against KT, and well, 3 actually. Played him against CJ also.
Apparently they really want to give him the experience. I mean, it's not like this is his first season or anything like that, but it is his first season as a support player, I suppose. So, might as well give him some experience.
I think he has tons of stage experience, though.
Should.
That's the big confusion point for me, Noah, is that it's not like this is a guy who doesn't have stage experience, so you're trying to get him over some nerves or show him what it's like to be on stage. All he needs to do is figure out how to play the support role, and if he's not ready to play it at the professional level yet, then you just give him more scrim time. You don't need to put him on stage. I don't see what that accomplishes as a veteran player.
Well, it makes you wonder what's going on in the team house over at Samsung, if there's some sort of conflict.
Yeah.
There's no real logical sense for why they would swap Wraith up for
maybe
Core
the
JJ.
scrim results of Core JJ are very good, and it's just not translating on stage.
Could be.
Possibility.
Could be, I suppose. Samsung trying to lure their opponents in with hot chocolate. Oh, then Ambition takes it away.
No hot chocolate for ESC. Sad times.
Oh, well. Shen can't drink it. He's got a mask on anyway.
Just drinks it through the mask.
Tempered Fate lands on to Bless. The inhibitor turret does go down.
Why
Samsung,
would
no
you
follow-up. Crazy goes in. Ruler has to get out of that with the QSS out of the taunt. There goes the second inhibitor.
That was a really bad Bard ultimate. There's no reason to actually Bard ult Bless right there. The turret was guaranteed pretty much to go down. And there's also the threat that if you use your Bard ult right there and they decide to push in and try and end the game on your Nexus turrets, you could have had that Bard ult to keep your Nexus turrets alive, or even the turret alive at the inhibitor for a few more seconds so you could collect yourself for a defense. It's just really easy for the Gragas just to stand there in stasis while the team gets the last couple of hits onto the turret. And there's just no more Tempered Fate. And Samsung is very reliant on that Tempered Fate. That's their only form of engage, really.
Crazy backing off. The Elder Dragon is up. So we'll see if ESC goes for that after they pressure this Baron. You'd think the Baron's going to come first.
Yeah, you just ESC, take the Baron. It's going to spawn. Just go take the Baron and then end the game. You don't need the Elder Dragon here.
Yep. And they've already started it. Samsung trying to stop this one. Bless escapes back to the Baron pit to get away from Samsung. Ruler takes a red buff. Magical Journey used. Baron getting very, very low. True Shot Barrage comes through, but the Baron does go over to ESC. It's just impossible to steal that against the Callista.
Yep. Easy Baron. That's why they can do it at any time. So you don't have to have the perfect vision as long as you have a Callista on your team, because you're not really 50-50ing it unless you make a horrendous error.
Well, 2 Barons already for ESC Ever as we hit the 40-minute mark. Do you think they could have closed this out a little bit quicker? Well, obviously, I think if they would have hit some of those engages they were going for, they would have. But
it's not just the engages. There are lane assignments, I think, or lack thereof, did slow down the pace of this game. But this should be the push in which they win the game. Already have the Shen moving those super minions up onto the Nexus. And they're going to go and grab a red buff for Loken's Callista just to be extra safe.
Grab a red buff. See, if Riot was really smart, they would release like energy drinks as like red buff and blue buff.
That actually would be smart.
You know, and like they could have different energy qualities. Tempered Fate hits Loken. There's the engage. Bless gets up a little bit. There's the Sand United for the shield. They take out the turret. Bless backs away. Ambition in a lot of trouble as Key engages. Nice headbutt onto Ruler, who has some flash. Gets exhausted though. Summoner heal comes in. Samsung fighting this one out, but Tempt starting to lay down the damage with that Varus, and this could be the end of the game right here.
Yeah, look at the Nexus turrets are already starting to get low. Super minions.
That's right. There goes Nexus turret number 1. Number 2 as well. Kube decides to donate another kill to the KDA fund. Key on his own, but this is going to be the end of the game anyway. And ESC Ever taking what I would call a very convincing game number 1 over Samsung.
Yeah,
GG.
No other way to put it. That
Yeah.
one kill that they got onto Key was the only kill Samsung got the entire game. Repeatedly picked off, snowballed from the gold lead that ESC managed to acquire early. And Samsung, I think, that first Drake fight, they got a little bit greedy in terms of their ability usage, and then some mechanical misplays, honestly, that ended up with a pretty big lead for ESC.
Yeah. Yeah, Samsung just looking very, very lackluster in every way. I mean, they just look so blasé, you know, where they're. It didn't seem like their hearts were even in the game.
They have no fire without Wraith. They just don't have an edge. And I hate to say it, but it's just been every game with Core JJ. They're now 0-3 with Core JJ at the support role. They don't play the map well. They don't play aggressively. They make the wrong calls. I think that you just have to stick with Wraith for the time being. I think the Core JJ experiment needs to end now. And
before it gets any worse.
Maybe give him a month or two to get more accustomed to the support role, and then maybe try it again. But
sure,
in a league where every game matters, where the match differential, we saw Samsung. They had a tie score with some of the other teams in the league, and they missed playoffs because of match differential last season. You think these guys would understand it better than anybody else?
Well, let's see if they understand enough to put Wraith back in when we come back, guys. Ever versus Samsung, game number 2 here on LCK Summer on OGN. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.